pint of water, which I've nearly finished here, every morning, as the chief recommends. Body brushing, visualization exercises, and yoga asanas, which I'm about to perform. When you combine all these things with daily meditation, I'm not going to make out like if you're going through extreme circumstances like I am at the moment, with there's a little bit of uncertainty and also a little bit of excitement, about that prospect. It's not like it just flattens out all of your emotions and you just carry on like a robot. But that sense of energy, electricity, magnetism, joy in the heart, radiating throughout the body, can't beat that, You imagine, back in the old days, although I should say I don't, even though there is a video of me vaping, I don't smoke. That was just a few days, because I used to smoke in the past, as a teenager and a young man, and sometimes when adverse circumstances were upon me, I would go back to the old habit as a kind of crutch. And you see, that crutch has been now replaced. It's been nullified by the techniques, obviously loosely speaking, the initiation into Hermetics regime. It really works. There you go. There's the proof. I'm about to become technically homeless. There is uncertainty. There's a fucking hell of a lot that I need to do and that I've already done. And I wake up every day and my mind's like, oh, the seats, the this form, that, tying up the things here. Where do I put this? What days do me and Samuel kind of need to transport my books? And so what we're starting to see here in my vlog, and there's a danger, I don't want this to turn into a personal vlog dealing with mundane matters. We have to keep it on the spiritual, on the higher things. That's why I'm not chucking out one every couple of days, I'm waiting till there is something to say most of the time, obviously in the past I might have just had a few mad moments and may still again, but things are different now. So these daily practices and the meditation, if you keep them up for long enough, you don't want to be without them. And it's being part of a group that really solidifies things. It's like I remember, don't get me wrong, Metallica haven't released a good album in 30 years, but I remember Lars Ulrich saying something about, when you're in a band, you don't want to let your bandmates down, you work harder, you don't want to fuck up on stage, you want to be a better musician and pull your weight, and words to this effect, yeah. And that always stuck with me, even though my own personal musical ventures, there was a full lineup, but that was a long time ago and it didn't last very long, but it was primarily just me and one other person when we were making music, and I felt an immediate acceleration in responsibility and a kind of assertiveness towards completing the goal. And I was okay anyway on my own. I would go slowly, carefully. But when you had someone else and you were both feeding off of each other's energy, and there was an expectation, and there was someone to there to witness the arrival, or the end product. It really makes a big difference. So I'm very grateful for that. So there's just a few weeks to go, and I will be leaving this shithole town, and I will only have one reason to come back, and that will be to see my jeweler, an amazingly affable and talented man who has made and maintains my jewelry. So that will be the only reason, apart from who knows, maybe the odd mundane stop here and there. But I mean, put it this way, there's a trap. There's this idea of a kind of poverty trap. You make only just enough money to survive. You're making your landlord rich. Everyone's sucking off of you, and you're so tired from working physically every day that when you get home, you haven't got the energy to actually really do anything about it. And my heart really does bleed for those people that are, their hearts probably would bleed for me because they're part of a family, I mean, I have my children, but obviously I'm, a weekend dad. So, being to all intents and purposes, a free man, it means that I can make this bold move, and I'm still young enough to do it. And through the practice of meditation and the asanas and all this kind of stuff, hopefully, we will see a retention of that the physicality that is required to meet the challenge. You see, I need to look after my mental and physical health. And when you're out on a limb doing radical shit, things can get surreal. Again, that's why being part of a group is really beneficial. Every now and then you'll need to reel yourself in and think about how you're perceived. Having children means that at least until they're grown up and independent, I need to be here to guide them and to help them, So we're all trapped in one way or another, even if it's by noble considerations. But it's a fucking jungle. It's a shithole. Everyone's out for themselves. Almost entirely. And they say people are good in their hearts. Yeah, they'd prefer to be, but they're also extremely petty, aren't they? I now realise I have to keep my situation almost entirely secret. And the few people that I have told, I've had a few of them, oh, you can't do that. You can't. Like, they're such slaves to the system. It's like they sit there in front of the BBC every night, after work. They're caged animals. Their thinking process, it's all tracks that have been laid out by the government, the television, and the way that, following the tracks that have been laid down by those before them and around them, You know, there is no notion of, I mean, live in a world of fear. Oh my God, you can't, but what if? It must be, there's laws, like, fucking hell. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? Like, fuck. Oh, I was like, do you know what? You know, I've learned now just to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent, apart from a few special people. And you know what? It's been, you know, a couple of people, I could tell that they were excited for me and they were intrigued by that sense of freedom. Now, whatever problems we can come up with in our head, there's going to be a solution somewhere. So it's a matter of applying that solution. So that's obviously the way forward, isn't it? And, you know, society is so busy and there's so much going on, it's possible to hide yourself amongst the busyness and just blend in, you know, as far as possible. Be discreet. Put it this way, I won't be washing my underwear in a bucket at 6 o'clock in the morning outside of the customer that I'm just about to clean their windows. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's drive off, find somewhere discreet, do what you need to do, you know. And when it's time to sleep, that's when we drive somewhere else and we find somewhere where it's possible to blend in with a normal background situation, and that situation will change every night. And there are many, many other considerations, but that it would become a mundane vlog then, wouldn't it, about, you know, living independently. And where the core concern of this channel is the spiritual evolution, is about the development of abilities and the application of discipline. So I'm going to be spending a lot more time outdoors, and I'm going to be spending a lot more time in the countryside, and specifically in that area that is special to me for the reasons laid down at the birth of this channel. So I'm looking forward to, basically I'm going to, after this video, just get shit done, and then the next video I drop will be 1st of October, which is the beginning of the new era, the you know, the bid for freedom, glory or death. And fingers crossed, in the future we can, you know, pull up somewhere nice, quiet sometimes, build a fire, and talk about the really interesting stuff in more depth and more detail than has been achieved previously. I really should get on with my morning regime now, shouldn't I? Is this escapism? Possibly. Okay.